Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video goes out to my mod team for my Discord. Kind of as a little summer present, I asked them, hey, what do you want to see as a video? And the answer was Instant Speed High Tide, also known as Solidarity or Reset High Tide. So let's take a look at the namesake card of the deck here. Well, okay, one of the namesake cards, because, High Tide's kind of important. Reset is a 2-mana blue card that you can only cast during an opponent's turn after their upkeep step, and you can untap all lands you control for 2 mana. We are going to be pairing this with High Tide effects, okay? So whenever we tap, or I really should say whenever a player taps an island for mana, that player adds an additional blue to their mana pool, because that is symmetrical. So the idea here is that we're going to make a bunch of mana with High Tide, use cards like Snap and Reset to go and untap our lands, use Snapcaster Mage to reset these High Tides and resets and reuse them again, ultimately drawing a bunch of cards with things like Meditate, and then we Cunning Wish for an actual win condition. Brain Freeze is frequently going to be the easiest one, but if our opponent has something like an Eldrazi in their deck or something like that, we can also cast a giant blue Sun Zenith to make them draw their entire library and lose the game that way. Now, the traditional version of High Tide runs Time Spiral, which unfortunately is a sorcery, so we're not running that here. But we do gain the benefit of just being able to play Reset instead of Turnabout. Usually Turnabout is the thing that is producing a lot of mana for you, and that only tends to be good once you have a bunch of lands or a whole bunch of High Tides in play, whereas Reset is going to get good faster. I do want to preface this video by saying, while I'm relatively comfortable with High Tide, I have not played very much Solidarity. It has probably been 3, maybe 4 years since I've played this deck, and there are some new cards in here that weren't in here before. Very notably, the Hullbreacher Horror, which is an uncounterable 7/8 Kraken Horror, and whenever you cast a spell, you can either return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or you can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So you can use this to just kind of bounce just about anything out of play. Giant Murktide Regent in play. Nope, no there's not. Yeah, the other newish card in here is an Offer You Can't Refuse. It just counters a non-creature spell. Now its controller does get 2 treasure tokens, so that is worth something. That is a real downside, but it is a very nice addition to the Force of Wills and Force of Negations that we play. On that note, since we are trying to go off on our opponent's turn, that does mean we can actually use Force of Negation to sort of protect our own combo. And the last new card that I want to talk about is actually Dress Down. This card is just very, very good at stopping any sort of hate bear card. Does not matter what it is. Dress Down just stops all of them, says no, and then you can just go off. I think I like it. Yeah, let's jump directly into the video here and kind of see how this does. If you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing for all sorts of other fun and interesting deck lists. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. That's one of the easiest ways to support my content for free. Let's battle. Hey folks, Phil from the future here. If you have time for a long round, I recommend round 2 versus Aaron Relentless. It's quite the grind, but there's some crazy stuff that happens during it. Enjoy the video. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep my opening hand here. I don't know exactly the fundamental turn of this deck where I expect to go off, but a lot of times in playing with regular High Tide, you're looking for about 4 lands before you go off. I have a High Tide, I have a Cunning Wish, I have something else that's just going to randomly draw me a card. This is probably an okay start. I don't think this hand is oh my gosh, amazing, stellar, absolutely everything I could ever want, but we've got some pieces. We'll be kind of looking for an untapper along the way of some kind, as one of the things... Oh no. Uh-oh. Mission failed. What's my graveyard hate look like? Alright. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Alright. Yeah, there goes my graveyard hate. Because I was gonna have Cunning Wish for surgical extraction. That's just not there anymore. Oh no. Oh no. It's gonna be worse than that? Am I eating a Grizzlebrand? I am eating a Grizzlebrand. Alright, opponent's over there living their best life. I think I just died on turn 1. Not literally, but effectively. I just, like, can't combo off that fast. And I think the Grizzlebrand just kills me before I could possibly combo off. Okay, there's another Dark Ritual. If another creature comes into play, I'm just going to concede, because I just literally don't think I have any outs to double creature here. Okay, this is just evoked. You know, this is probably fine, but I'm gonna see if I see another, like, interesting card here. You can also just, like, reanimate the Grief, and, like, that's good enough, right? Like, that taking my High Tide. Oh, there's an Archon in the graveyard. Yeah, okay. Alright, alright. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. Okay. Well, that was bad. So, the weird thing about this deck is, like, because I'm a Cunning Wish deck, I probably want to leave some of this stuff in the sideboard, so, like, I probably leave Surgical Extraction. I don't know, like... like, it's just more copies of Surgical if I leave it in the sideboard. But I might need to bring in some of this other stuff. Snaps are pretty good. Maybe I bring in another snap. I think I leave the Force of Negation as, like, a counterspell that I can... like, a free counterspell that I can tutor for with Cunning Wish. I do not have any experience with this deck, like, literal 0, so I don't really know what I can cut to bring these things in if I bring them in. So that's a thing. To, like, consider. I don't know, like, that's like my Ponder, and I can't play Ponder since I'm going off at instant speed. Maybe I cut, like, a Snapcaster Mage and a Consider and bring these in. I don't know, right? Like, this is my first game with this deck. Okay. I have a Snap, I have a Counterspell. This is fine. And Grizzlebrand just getting in play, though, like, is bad. Maybe Snap's not good enough in that regard. We'll figure it out. I don't feel good about this matchup. My opponent's just a faster combo deck than I am. And not by a little bit, either. Okay, there is a Grief. I believe I'm going to Brainstorm in response of that and put my Force of Negation on top of my deck. And I'll, like, bury the Meditate, because that card seems important. Alright, sounds good. F6, see if we get turn 1. I expect I lose the Snap here. I'm just kind of hoping that my opponent can't combo off this turn, and that's why I hid the card that I did. Okay, they have Entomb. Alright. Opponent is just producing a turn 1 Grizzlebrand again. They haven't made a land drop yet. I think that just does it. I think even if I put the Snap on top of my library, and they... My opponent says, I may be winning this match, but I'm hurting a bedtime video. I'm gonna give them the GGs there. Like, they've got this one at this point. That's fine. Let's move on to the next round and try to do the thing. Okay, my opening hand has 1 land here. I could, like, Brainstorm on my second turn and hope to hit a land and land drop. But I think I'd rather just mulligan here. This is a much safer hand. My opponent may be playing elves, but they have a pretty good range. So I'm not going to, like, make any preconceived notions about what they might be on. I'm gonna pitch the Force of Negation here. And we'll just play a land and pass. I really hope they're not on elves, I think. I think they're just going to be a faster and more consistent combo deck than I am. Oh? Oh? Taiga is unexpected. Like, Taiga is a relatively rare dual land. Shows up in Belcher. Oh, we're playing against lands. Okay. Those Schadenports will actually be annoying. So let's go ahead and play an end of turn AK. That's fine. So my opponent will port down one of my lands. I don't really care about that. Just going to continue to make land drops here. I may play a fair meditate. Just give my opponent an extra turn to just fuel up. Becomes a little scarier now. Okay. Fog is fine. Yeah, now I don't think I can fair meditate. Not without more mana available. It's just, like, too risky. Play out my Flooded Strand and pass. Got a little bit of a clunker here. Okay, 2 mana. Uh-huh. My opponent's really thinking about something. I thought this was just going to be, like, grab Dark Depths, put me to the test, but they might be thinking about just grabbing, like, another Rishadenport or something like that. Oh, they are going for Urza Saga, which is much better against my Snap. Alright, I'll fetch. I'll bite. Grab an island here. I suspect the jig is probably up, like that I am very clearly high tide by this point. Oh. Maybe not. Maybe not. My opponent will port down one of these lands. That's fine. Do I want to just fair meditate? I don't have to make that decision now. I think no, right? Because, like, getting Expedition Map into Merit Lodge is, like, very much a thing. Alright, opponent's been thinking for a little while. They're making their move now on whatever this is. Oh, it is a crop rotation. Are we just going for... Oh, we're going for a Yavimaya. Okay. Oh, and a Life from the Loam. Absolutely. That is going to be quite strong. It's a very intricate line there. That will get bogged again, which is no big deal, but I've kind of got nothing going on. Yeah, like, I can eliminate these tokens, but I think this is going to be one of those games where, like, lethal damage on the stack. I go for it. That's fine. If opponent randomly has a second Pithing Needle, I should fetch now. I don't expect them to. But, like, this producing blue versus this producing green is kind of a huge deal. So let's go ahead and throw that on top. Like, giving up the fetch land there is kind of a real thing. Because of, like, Mystic Sanctuary later being able to rebuy a High Tide or something. Just another Life from the Loam. It is. This is just, like, stream of Urza Saga tokens is going to be a pain in the ass. Because, like, I can deal with these first couple via snaps, and then I don't... Oh, God. Then I don't really have anything from there. I'm just going to answer one of these. I think I need to hold the other in case a Merit Lodge is a thing. I'll untap my lands. So I've revealed that I'm high tide. But my opponent... Okay, that's fine. Where's the high tide? Ugh. So, do I go for it this turn? I don't have to go for it yet. However, there's these, like, multiple Rishadan ports. They're a pain in my ass. If I cast a High Tide, my opponent double ports me in response. I'll have 4 mana from there, and then I can just, like, reset and attempt to go off. I think that's fine. This could be me being impatient, but I'm, like, definitely starting to get scared of the resources that my opponent has. Alright, let's try it. High Tide. Blow to blue. Oh, right, I can only cast this after their upkeep. Fuck. It's okay. Blow to blue. I'm gonna set a stop in their draw step. Alright. So my High Tide resolves. Now with my floating mana, I'll snap that out of play. Untap 2 of my lands. Let them go to their draw step. Go 2 4 mana. Cast a Meditate. Still plenty left floating to reset in a minute. And just kind of hope that this card hits at least okay. There is a Snapcaster Mage for another Meditate. That will probably be in the cards for me. Go ahead and consider. I will put Island into my graveyard. There is a Brainstorm. This is the 2 mana that I need to do this. So I guess I will just go ahead and... Well, if I draw exactly a High Tide right now, like, that would be cool. The Brainstorm gets me deeper in a minute. Let's go ahead and just do this. and reset. Go 2 mana for a Snapcaster Mage. Target a Meditate. Your Bog's in play. Oh, fuck, Endurance. Okay. Itch, just force Pitch Brainstorm. I think is fine. I don't think I can really hardcast the Force here. This is a little... Oh my god! You... No! Oh no. Oh god, okay. I've skipped my next turn at this point. I'm comfortable conceding there. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, did not expect double endurance there. Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Wow. Opponent said they needed 6 turns to notice what was happening. Yeah, that's fair. Like, it's not like High Tide is supposed to be on your radar, right? Oh my god. Okay. Man, if I saw 2 of those in game 1, there's probably a full playset of those in the deck. Yet. That makes going off so much harder. Like, am I supposed to dress down to stop that? I don't know. I guess like the endurance interacts with 3 cards in my deck. Maybe I should. Ow, ow, ow. But shit. Okay. Yeah. This is fine. I think I'm gonna board out an offer you can't refuse for a dress down, just like to have access to that, and then call it good. I don't. Wow, endurance is a beating. I have to make my opponent draw their deck, otherwise I risk, like, just losing to endurance. I would like to play first. That has no lands. This is a bad hand. Like, I make my first 2 land drops, but, like, I have a dress down as a singular cantrip play. I don't have fuel for Snapcaster. I'm not ready for this. I think I go to 5. Sad keep. Bad keep. I really wanted like a 3-lander here. All right. We're gonna be praying that like the MTGO shuffle gods have been kind to me here, because I'm just so likely to fall behind here. Like, my opponent has also mulligan deep, but I think they're much better at recovering from mulligans due to the presence of cards like Life from the Loam or Valakut Awakening if my opponent is playing that. Yeah. But like now it's like they really haven't mulligan at all versus my deck. So like I can Cunning Wish for a surgical extraction to take out that Life from the Loam if I'd like. That is a thing that I am allowed to do. I don't know that I can actually do that and still have enough resources to win the game, though. Do I have a High Tide in here? No, all my High Tides are in the main deck. Okay. I probably cast my Cunning Wish now, one way or another. And then we'll figure out what I am pulling from the sideboard here. I could get Hurkyl's Recall, but, like, then Life from the Loam just beats me as the game goes long anyway. I might just pick up a second Meditate so that if I do get the High Tide, I really have a chance of going ham. I could also just pick up a Pact of Negation now. I don't hate that, actually. That stops endurance-type shenanigans. And let's be real, like, if you fail at comboing off with a Meditate, like, you're pretty much dead anyway. Opponent might be crop rotationing. Getting some Merit Lodge vibes. Okay, no, I think I'm wrong. That is just a construct. I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to fetch before Pithing Needle gets involved. And we're on 4 lands now. Yeah, I am, like, very, very, very much missing the, like, Onders and, like, Preordains and stuff to actually set up my turns in advance. Pyrite Spellbomb? Oh, I see, for, like, Snapcaster Mage. Okay, no, I get it now. I see what they're doing. That's fine. Let's cast an AK now. Try to hit another land drop. I succeeded in that. There's definitely this tension here between wanting to like snap these constructs out of play and wanting to hold it for a potential Merit Lodge. Slash also wanting to hold it to potentially return a Snapcaster Mage. Crop rotation time? No, because it's 2 mana. Okay, no action. It's turn 5 and no real action from this Life from the Loam yet. Do I snap? I might have to snap. Like, it's a pretty huge reduction of damage. Like, if I was going to do this, I should have just done it last turn, but I was trying to wait. Take 3 this turn. I think that's fine. I need some... I need something. Like, I can try to YOLO go off if I hit a high tide. I did. I think I try to wait another turn, unless my opponent does something spooky. Okay, that's just copying another Grove, that's fine. Yeah, I think I just like another card here. I don't feel super comfortable trying to go off yet. Oh, that's another high tide. Absolutely. Now well, I don't have it on Tapper. Yeah, we're gonna be a little bit in the YOLO category still. Can I wait one more turn? And maybe wait one more turn. 3, 4, 5. If they have a Punishing Fire, it's 6, 7. 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. 6, 7, return. I go up to 9. 9 total damage. Maybe I do need to go now, because I died of Punishing Fire. I'm going to say no, because I think Punishing Fire got boarded out. That just feels correct. And I'm going to intend on going off in my opponent's draw step next turn. Okay, that's all fine. That's not fine. That's very much not fine. So I can Force of Will that pitching Pact of Negation and draw one more card before trying to go off. Or I can just go off now in response to this. Okay, quick check. Force of Will, go to 4. Fetch, go to 3. Then I will die to Punishing Fire. I don't currently die, or no. Fuck, if I fetch with this, I do die to Punishing Fire. I've already determined that I don't think Punishing Fire is in the deck. Alright, I'm gonna force that pitching Pact. Okay, now, do I want to Mystic Sanctuary a snap back on top of my library so that I at least have some guaranteed mana generation? I think I'm okay with that. Alright. Mystic Sanctuary. Put snap on top. Alright. So I know what's up. Oh, okay. What are we doing over there? Okay. Yeah, I can just convert that into a different island. That's fine. Seems like my opponent should have held that. But they may have their reasons. Like, it seems like you do that in response to a high tide. There we go. High tide. High tide. Oh, man. I just realized my opponent has an absolute Giga Brain play that I hope they don't see. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's so good. Yeah, I don't want it to happen. Because they can Pyrite Spellbomb their own creature token, right? And then that can fizzle my snap. Okay. That's cool. Cool. We totally planned for that. I totally knew that was going to happen ahead of time. Yes, I will put Scalding Tarn into my graveyard. I'm going to see if they see this line. I'm going to really hope they don't. Alright, do that. Iron Relentless, why are you so good? Why are you so good? It's okay, I can still hit a reset. I'm still okay. How do I get the most looks at that? This taps for 3, right? Yeah, this taps for 3. I can consider and then brainstorm as my, like, emergency play. I have 3 mana here. I don't think Snapcaster is great. I'll send that away. There's an accumulated knowledge. I need to hit a reset. I absolutely need to hit a reset here. Oh no. Put these 2 back, cast an AK, and then I think I've fizzled. Yeah, I unfortunately have fizzled. And I think fizzling here just means that I'm dead to Urza Saga, right? Just Life from the Loam, Urza Saga. Play Urza Saga. I resolve to meditate, so my opponent gets an extra turn. They make their construct, and then I have to go off again next turn. And I don't really have the resources to do that. Yeah, I shouldn't have put the snap on top of library. I would have gotten one card deeper. Alright, so there's my opponent's extra turn. Now they also just get another look at like a sphere type card. Okay, Wasteland doesn't do anything, that's fine. Soul Guide Lantern basically seals the deal there, because now my Snapcaster Mage got turned off. Yeah, that's pretty good. I wonder if my opponent just nukes my graveyard in response. They don't. Cunning Wish is a thing. I can technically Cunning Wish for Hurkyl's Recall, cast Hurkyl's Recall, and then I don't die? Anything else spicy in there? Not really. Like, I technically have other options. I am under just so much duress right now. Yeah. Ugh. I'm just like so frustratingly close. I just don't think what I'm working with here does it. I also just like have cards like Endurance to worry about as well. Right, there's a map. Map could potentially represent something like a Bojuka Bog that would be pretty annoying. Actually, I could Snapcaster Mage, target a High Tide, force my opponent to nuke Soul Guide Lantern, cast an AK in response to draw a couple of cards, and then try to go from there next turn. Maybe I'm not Stone Cold Dead. Yeah. Alright, Snapcaster Mage. Actually, maybe I target Snap. Targeting Snap is probably even better. Yeah. So now, I'll AK in response to get a draw 2. Okay. That's fine. This ability now fizzles. I'll go ahead and block here. Do I snap my Snapcaster back to my hand? I don't think so. I think I need to cast this AK in this turn cycle to have a snowball's chance at going off next turn. It was a much more interactive game than what I was expecting. Exploration is fine. My opponent can like go and get a Rishadan port to make my life a little bit harder. Yeah, there's the port that I was expecting. Alright, so let's draw a card with this AK. That's a Brain Freeze. I get ported. That's fine. A Snapcaster Mage. Can I mill my opponent out? Like, can I just get 40 cards with double Brain Freeze? I guess mana is my bottleneck here, unfortunately. I can also just Cunning Wish for Hurkyl's Recall right now. Just 5 mana. So I can, like, play Snap, return a creature, still be at 6 mana. Play Snapcaster, cast Snap, be at 4 mana left. Brain Freeze my opponent. Or non-lethal amounts. Yeah, I don't think that does it. Yeah, I think I Hurkyl's Recall in this turn cycle. Reset all of these tokens. Okay. So, a new Mox Diamond. Now this is a Rishadan port with the activated ability of Urza Saga. There's 8 incoming. Cunning Wish. Yes. Hurkyl's Recall. Recall target you. Wish I had one more mana to just, like, cast a baby Brain Freeze here. Also, like, how am I beating Endurance? I'm just not, right? I think I'm just not is the answer. There are worlds where I can just time my opponent out. Yeah, that's happening. So, yeah, that's in exile, right? Yeah, that's in exile. Okay. So, land drop, pass. I'm just chilling. Something else here? Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, triple Schadenport's fine. I don't have any issues with that. What are you talking about? Sure. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Oh, that was a legendary land there. Do I need to, like, attempt to mill my opponent twice and just go Snapcaster Mage, snap it back to my hand, Brain Freeze my opponent? I don't think like my Storm count is quite high enough here. And I also want to leave up, like, the Snapcaster Hercules recall line as well. Because, like, my opponent potentially is coming in with at least one Construct token next turn. Yeah, that's all fine. Does it work now? With a high tide involved. I wish I knew this math. I unfortunately do not know double brain freeze math off the top of my head. Especially when multiple Urza Sagas are involved. Okay. So, high tide doesn't actually make as much mana as it looks like. I can probably do whatever I want to do in combat involving the Snapcaster Mage. That's fine. I've already seen the Soul Guide Lantern. I've already seen the Pyrite Spellbomb. I don't expect there's going to be two. I do expect a Pithing Needle. I'm going to go ahead and fetch here and hope I don't regret that. Grab an island. Yeah. Opponent failed to find something. Okay. I can just Snapcaster Hercules and buy more time to actually go off and then, like, snap the Snapcaster back to my hand. I think I, like, starting to make something happen here. Alright, my High Tide has happened. Let's go 2 mana, Snapcaster Mage, target a Hercules Recall with that, and then I'm not going to be dead this turn. Okay, that's an Endurance. That adds to the Storm count. So at this point, I can go ahead and play Snap, target my Snapcaster Mage, untap 2 lands. Storm is 4. If I can mill my opponent for 15 with a Brain Freeze. Then I can cast Snapcaster Mage, and then cast another Brain Freeze. So Storm will be 5, 6, and then I will get 7 copies of Brain Freeze for 21, which is 36 cards, which is exactly how many cards my opponent has in their library. Okay. Oh, don't need to tap that many. All right. Brain Freeze, target you. Can I really not? Okay. I have to, same targets. All of those. Okay. So now, redeploy Snapcaster Mage. Target Brain Freeze. No! 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 This is bullshit. God damn it. Man. Okay. Meditate. Draw 4 cards. My opponent should absolutely tap down as many lands as possible here. And apologies if you can hear this weird weed whacker that is going on outside. Yeah, alright, opponent knows what's up. I'll do it again. Yeah, they're waiting on the last one. Yeah, I can cast a High Tide, I can reset, and then I am dead. Double Endurance both times I tried to go off. Aaron Relentless, you're a savage. GG's, friend. GG's. Alright, round 3. I've kept my opening hand here. I'm really not liking how the opening hands look with this deck. Like, there's so many times where you're just kind of, like, missing something, and you don't get to use Ponder and, like, Preordain to just kind of, like, stitch together the things you're missing. So, like, I've kept something that needs just a couple more land drops, and then some sort of, like, meditate type card, and then I'm good to go. But I can't really guarantee myself that, like, that's gonna happen. Ooh, are we playing against, like, Grixis control? I probably want to cast this in response. Could be playing against Grixis control. I have lost my High Tide. Alright. That is a pretty respectable draw. Losing the High Tide slows me down a lot. There are also still worlds where my opponent is just a combo deck. I will probably find out very, very quickly, though, if that is the case. Well, actually, like, this turn, probably either way, I find out. Uh-huh. That occurs. I don't think a naked Snapcaster is going to be good enough to, you know, bet the farm on. Two naked Snapcasters, though? Maybe two naked Snapcasters is. Oh. That's a lot of colors. Fuck. How do I ever beat that card? How do I ever beat that card? Like, that card is designed to beat my deck, holy shit. Like, I can't cast things at instant speed. My opponent just, like, bounces this. And then I have to, like, redeploy instant speed Snapcasters to try to kill this. God damn it. This is so bad. This is so bad. Oh my god. Help. YouTube. Fuck. I might be exaggerating when I say I'm 100% dead to that card, but holy hell. Like, I don't have these nice early game cantrips to just, like, go and bring back with these Snapcaster Mages as I'm doing this either. I'm just so incredibly unlikely to actually connect with this thing. Yeah, and I can't counter this because this guy's a jerk. I now have a single Snapcaster Mage left in my deck that can pressure that Teferi. I think I'm going to go ahead and save myself some heartache here. And concede. Yeah, sure don't get things that really help out with that, other than, like, maybe another Force of Negation, though. Yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. That is a problem. Oh my gosh. Can I give my opponent treasures? Probably have to give them treasures. Maybe I go down a snap here. Yeah, don't feel good about this. I guess I could Echoing Truth, but I guess I'd rather, like, leave that in the sideboard for Cunning Wish. Holy hell, Teferi is a beating. I mean, if I'm... And this is exactly what I mean. Like, this is a keepable hand, but I just have, like, no ability to sculpt in the early game. Honestly, it feels like a lot of the post-Fire Design cards have just, like, absolutely invalidated this deck. Like, Endurance is rough, Teferi is rough. The clock that something like Murktide Regent represents also kind of rough. Okay. I am A-okay with staring at each other for a little while. Like, I will absolutely, absolutely just make land drops at each other. It's if you, like, just play, like, white land Teferi that I just, like, roll over and die. I have no counter spells at this current time. I will just continue to make land drops. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Now I'm not dead to Teferi. Yeah. Opponent's not pressuring my life total. I'm not in any hurry yet. That said, like, Teferi, still just horrifying. Okay. There's a land drop into a fetch. Please don't Teferi me. Yeah, that's fine. All day. Opponent's got 7 cards, though, so, like, at some point, there is going to be a pretty gross counterspell war. I don't know when that point is going to be, but it's going to be scary. And I think I Cunning Wish as kind of a bait spell. Like, I'm happy enough if it resolves, and if it... Oh, okay, cool. What am I getting? Probably just a Pact of Negation. Probably just a Pact. I'm at the point that I can just pay for that. Alright. God, I hope there aren't Hullbreacher effects in my opponent's deck, too. Ah, cool. How do I feel about this? I maybe just let this resolve. Losing the High Tide's a pretty big blow, though. Maybe I can Force of Negation this, and then act to Teferi if my opponent plays one. I would buy that. But I'm, like, maybe not supposed to tap my mana here. Need a Red Elemental Blast. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch an AK in response, then. There's a world where I could Mystic Sanctuary this Force of Negation back on top and then draw it. Okay, I think I like that. I don't know, maybe I don't like that. Like, I can just Mystic Sanctuary back whatever my opponent takes. And I'm still not dead to a Teferi outright. Man, my opponent probably has so many blast effects in their deck to fight Delver. Looks like expressive iteration mana. But like opponent's pausing here. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, it is expressive iteration. Okay, opponent found a Scalding Tarn, so they make their land drop. Okay, and they're going deeper for something. I can't get himmed this turn. Also, holy shit, my opponent's mana base is greedy. Oh, I don't like that. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and respond to that with my own Mystic Sanctuary. Put my High Tide on top. Oh, bitch. Did I have to pact this? Seems like yes. This is not the counter war I was expecting to fight. Oh my god. Fuck you! Oh. How does Meditate and Pact of Negation worked? Let's see. If I skip my next turn, I presume that would happen on that following upkeep. I just lose to the Surgical Resolving. Okay. So I cast a Reset. And then I can meditate and attempt to find something that beats Snapcaster Mage. Do I AK first? Do I AK first? AK first means I could just draw a Force of Negation and hardcast that. That sounds okay. Let's try that. Now it's Brainstorm versus Meditate. Meditate looks at one more card. Looking at one more card when I'm literally dead otherwise is a pretty big deal. But this is the less risky way in that, like, giving my control opponent an extra turn is probably disastrous. Okay. I'm gonna put back Brainstorm Island. I am going to consider away the island, redraw Brainstorm, and now I get to dig a little deeper still. And see if I hit a counterspell for this Snapcaster Mage. Oh shit, I do. Okay. I'll put back 2 cards. I can't Force of Negation this, so the Snapcaster resolves. Targets a Surgical. Surgical happens on High Tide. A Force of Negation pitching Snap. And we go from there. Fuck you! No! No! Yeah, okay. With that, I lose all of my High Tides, and I cannot win from there, so I will concede. Storm count 15, by the way. Just, if I would have found a Brain Freeze, would have gotten weird. Wow. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, consider listening to the podcasts that I was on this week. I was on Humans of Magic, as well as In Response, a legacy podcast. I've linked both in the video description today if you want to check those out. And more generally, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has commented on videos, liked, and subscribed. The support is really helping out the channel. Really, it means a lot. I'm seeing a lot of growth. And let's just get back to the games. All right, I will keep my opening hand here. We are playing against the Slivers Master, Daniel Nunes himself. So he has really put a lot of work in on this archetype. And I am very excited to see him in action here. Now, notably, I am not going to have very many interaction points versus my opponent here. I'm going to try to counter a critical sliver with this Force of Will, but generally speaking, we are largely going to be goldfishing each other. I am going to just take that Scalding Tarn. Actually, with a whole bunch more cantrips, maybe I will just junk that. Good call, good call. There's a Cunning Wish, that's fine. I'm looking to, make land drops and maybe win around turn 4 or 5. I'd like to play AK this turn into AK Consider next turn, so if I have to Force of Will, I'm pitching Cunning Wish to it, just kind of given the texture of the rest of the hand. This damage is nothing. Okay. Mutavault's scary. Flying is fine. Vial on turn 2 is probably fine. I think I would have forced a turn 1 Vial, though. Alright. So, AK number 1 finds Mystic Sanctuary, which isn't super good. You're 1 card late. This is fine. I'll go ahead and pass the turn here. Kind of missing a little bit of everything here. Like, I don't have the High Tide yet. I don't have the Untapper yet. I don't have the Meditate yet. Wasteland notably does actually have text here. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that I want to counter. I guess I will AK first. It's possible something is worse than an offer you can't refuse, but pretty unlikely. Yeah, so let's go ahead and force that. Pitch an offer you can't refuse. Alright, I'm only going to take 2 this turn, which is totally fine. The Mutavault's not getting in there this turn. And I stopped a Lord, which is very nice. Okay, another Aether Vial. Totally fine. It's nice that he's a little bit light on gas here. Ooh, I will not put High Tide into my graveyard. I absolutely want that. Okay, I think I need, like, 1 more setup turn, and then I think I'm okay. Like, I can... Actually, can I go now? High Tide, 2 mana, Snapcaster Mage, 2 mana, Snap, return, Snapcaster Mage, untap 2 lands, probably realistically 5 mana. I guess I can tap Mystic Sanctuary first, so then I would have 6 mana. I can go 3 mana for Cunning Wish. Yeah, I don't think I quite have the critical density of cards here yet. I'm unsure if I'm supposed to play out this land. I think I'm going to play a Sorcery Speed Consider and just try to hit. Ooh, that's probably an above average draw. Will not put that into my graveyard. So I'm going to intend on 2 turning this here. Mystic Sanctuary. We'll just put a draw 2 back on top of my deck. Yes. And I'll just pass the turn with the intention of casting a Cunning Wish in response to a Wasteland on my Mystic Sanctuary. I'm on like a 4-turn clock as of right now, like on paper. But I have a feeling the clock is going to be faster than that. Alright, that was done in draw step, which is smart. Go ahead and Cunning Wish. Yes. I think I pick up Meditate here. It's possible I'm wrong, though. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. So, that's a good amount of damage. Am I dead next turn? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage next turn. I am dead next turn. So that means I have to go for it. It's gonna get a little spicy. That means I can't just go for a land here off of AK. In response to your Aether Vial triggers, I will cast a High Tide. He's now tapped for 2. I will cast a High Tide with 1 floating. So now 4 total mana. I'm going to play a Snapcaster Mage, target a High Tide, cast Snap, return Snapcaster Mage back to my hand, untapping 2 islands, casting a High Tide. How much is this? Okay, that's 4. So 4 mana is another Snapcaster Mage and Snap. Let's cast an AK now as a draw 2. Ooh, that's a reset. Oh shit, I'm in my opponent's upkeep! Fuck, fuck, fuck! No! Okay, folks. There's a problem. Everything's fine. Everything is totally fine. Totally fine, right? Totally fine. I wanted to win by other means anyway. There's Snapcaster Mage. Target Snap. Snap, target Snapcaster Mage. Undo 2 of these. Then 4 mana Meditate. These are tapping for 4. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I did this in upkeep so that I could kill my opponent in their draw step via Storm, and then I forgot about my resets. Brainstorm? Let's Brainstorm. Okay, so I put back 2 lands. And then I think I'm dead. This is 4 mana. Actually, I guess I can draw a new snap and snap one of my opponent's creatures. Frick. Shit. These things fly. I can't use Snapcaster Mage as a blocker. Yeah, maybe I should have waited till my opponent's draw step and tried to blue sun them out instead. There's a good chance I can make that happen. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, animate, 7, 8, 9. Fortunately, that does it here. Yeah, I should have done that in draw step. Resets wording is so weird. Yeah, I had a rational reason for what I did, and then I just, like, totally forgot how my own cards worked. Okay. Dress Down is interesting against this deck as a way to just buy time. Like, remove the abilities of the slivers. That's kind of cute. And it also removes the abilities of, like, Hate Bears. That's definitely a thing. Probably go, like, Force of Negations and an offer you can't refuse out for Dress Downs. Leave the Echoing Truth in the sideboard as something to wish for. Okay, High Tide Snap, Cunning Wish, a Force for like a Vial or something. I'd really like more land drops here. This is kind of like a good 6-card hand in that like the Force of Will counts as 1 card here. I think I'm just gonna mulligan this though. I think I just physically need more lands in an opening hand against this deck. This hand is unexciting, but is very likely to be improved by a Brainstorm. Accordingly, I'll keep it, I'll pitch a Snapcaster Mage, and go from there. Yeah, that's fair. So I can send away this second Snapcaster Mage, and then that doesn't do, like, a ton. It matters. Aether Vial to punish my mulligan? No. Plated Sliver. Totally fine. That's a great draw. I'm just going to play a land, pass the turn. If I can trade Snapcaster Mage in combat for a Sliver, I am 100% doing that. The issue is that a lot of Lords, or like the evasion creatures, just take that out of the range of possibility immediately. Yeah, see, like, that's exactly it, right? So that will make that into an X3, which means Snapcaster Mage doesn't trade. I'm going to Brainstorm in response and explore my possibilities. That's Snapcaster Mage going back. And I'm not really ready for a Cunning Wish, so I think I'm just going to throw that back. And then that creature can resolve. That's fine. All right. Very much not ready to win the game yet. But ooh, I have a lot of mana to work towards doing that. Let's just cast this now. A Brainstorm. Sure. I don't think I need to be looking at, like, fetch, end of turn, Brainstorm, or anything. That could change depending on if my opponent plays another Lord, though. That's fine. That's scarier. A Lord would be terrifying. Yeah, that's uncounterable. That's happening. Okay. So I am taking 9 damage this turn. Or sorry, I'm only taking 6 damage this turn. That puts me to 11. Unfortunately, 3, 6, 9, 12, plus more. I do potentially need to do this whole Brainstorm thing. The question is just, like, when. I can do it end of turn, take the best cards available with the Brainstorm, or I can just, like, get 1 card deeper on my opponent's draw step, just go, like, High Tide, reset Brainstorm or something like that. I think I'm going to get the 1 card deeper. I also think I'm going to just thin a land out of the deck, though I don't want to draw one here. I need a draw step stop on my opponent's turn. Holy mana, Batman. All right. Help me, Brainstorm. You're my only hope. For sure. High Tide. Float a mana. High Tide. I think at this point, I cast the Brainstorm rather than the 3rd High Tide. That way I have a little bit more flexibility in terms of keeping 2 cards if I need to. That's a consider. That's a consider. Okay. Actually, maybe I get into some double snap situations where that's better. I don't know, like with... No, the high tide's probably better with the reset in hand. Okay. So I'll fetch out. Grab an island. Can't do the other cool thing. So these are tapping for 3. I think at this point, no matter what, consider has to hit a relevant draw spell. I guess it doesn't matter which order I cast these things in for the most part. So let's do the consider now. All right, need to find like a meditate or something. Yes, I will put Snapcaster Mage into my graveyard. That's a snap. Yeah, I can make a bunch of mana here and then die. All right, GG's, Daniel. You get this one. At this point, we're 0-4, but damn it, I want to try to put a win on the board with High Tide. We're playing the last round. Okay, final round. I like this opening hand here. I've got Consider to kind of start things off. We got multiple AKs that I can play. This is the most like, oh shit, it's just like actual factual fucking burn. I have like the most reasonable like looking opening hand of any round that I've opened up on so far. I can probably remove this draw step stop for now. Goblin Guide's going to crash in for a couple points of damage here. There's a Consider on top. That's fine. I will probably just junk that card. I'm going to have hard time casting it. Cast this Consider now. I'll put a Consider into my graveyard. There is a reset. I'll just take this damage. That is a second skewer. At some point, I probably do need to just Force of Will something. I don't know that I'm going to have time to cast multiple accumulated knowledges, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and just take that line. I think I can put pay the 1 life to go ahead and brainstorm and then attempt to go into something else. Like, the brainstorm is really nice because I can just like draw a card with this Goblin Guide trigger. So this is a fun trick if you haven't seen this one before. So you brainstorm. I think I'm gonna put Force of Negation back. Like I just need to go off. I'm gonna put Snap back instead. Actually, like I don't have the High Tide here, which I really need. Yeah, I think I need a critical density of cards here. So I'm gonna put back Force of Negation, and then I'll put back Island. Now I know that I have a land on top. So Goblin Guide essentially draws me a card, and then I can go ahead and fetch away the card that I know that I don't want, and we'll see how much burn my opponent can huck at my face. There's 1. There's 2. All right. There's another reset. I think my turn involves just snapping a Goblin Guide out of play during combat and then hoping to win the following turn. So I maybe draw a card here. A Force of Negation. That is not exactly great for me. I am just going to snap this out of play so that I am out of range of a single burn spell killing me. That's a skewer. Go ahead and AK. I draw Force of Negation. I think I pitch cast that here, pitching the Cunning Wish, and then hope to draw High Tide as my draw for turn. That is a snap. So snap means that I can prevent taking damage from Goblin Guide and get 1 more look at a High Tide. And I get kind of bonus looks if this is an island on top. Oh shit, it's a High Tide! I still think I snap this now. The snap is better next turn, but then I'm just dead to any 1 red, like, damage spell. Okay. That's fine. Now, unfortunately, I do have to try to win in my opponent's draw step next turn, which can be a little sus here. But damn it, we're gonna try. High Tide. Float the mana. Reset. Okay. tap one of these for a meditate, which is, like, scary. Like, if this doesn't, like, this turn's gotta win the game for me. It looks like there's a good chance of that happening now, though. Alright, there's another High Tide. These are tapping for 3, so I can go ahead and meditate now with this, and then I can reset with my next thing. Yeah. Am I fine with Brainstorm now? I think I'd rather Brainstorm as late in the turn as possible. Alright, there's reset. Tap this, do yet another meditate. That's a draw 4. Okay, there's a snap, which can be additional mana production. This is the point where I have to Brainstorm. I need hits here. AK and Brainstorm. 2 random lands can go back. These are tapping for 3. I go ahead and AK now. Brainstorm now. Okay, there's a Cunning Wish. That probably does interesting things. Put back 2 lands. Yeah. Snap. Target Goblin Guide. Actually, I should wait on that. Because if my opponent randomly... No, it's fine, because I have Force of Will. No, that would not be fine. Yeah, I need to reset here instead. Okay, there's the reset. Now, I can go ahead and Cunning Wish. I believe gets me a Meditate. Yeah, that's getting me a Meditate. Alright. Leaving 1 floating. Meditate. Oh my god. That is a lot of lands. Yeah, I can now bounce the Goblin Guide out of play. And then skip multiple turns in a row. That's a fizzle at Storm Count 13, unfortunately. And, like, with the mana that I'm working with here, I didn't really have enough for a good Blue Sun or anything. Unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to play against a deck this fast. Like, I want to play against decks that I can just, like, make land drops forever. Okay, I have some amount of interaction that I can board in, but all the interaction comes at some cost. I want to get one of these sweet lobster friends into play. There's also Eidolon to worry about. Like, do I have to board in Dress Down specifically for that card? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Because I can't, like, really beat it. Like, do I board out Force of Negations for some of those just so that I can get better at answering that card? Or, no, I just snap that card out of play. That's my answer to that card. So maybe I play a Fluster. I can probably board in another Snap. The Snaps are relatively good in this matchup. Keep 1 Force of Negation in. I could also just, like, straight up board a Meditate in to just, like, draw that more easily. Cunning Wish is kind of slow in this matchup, although, like, Cunning Wish for Meditate is something that I frequently want to do. So I don't know. I would like to play first. I would like to mulligan that hand. That, like, I just physically do not have enough mana for that to be reasonable. That is another 1-lander with the Mystic Sanctuary as the 1 land. That is no good. It will be on 5. At this point, I very much have to keep this, and I do not really think at this point I have a reasonable enough hand that I can win the game with. Like, I could be wrong, but I think I just get run over. I don't have a high enough density of cards here. Alright, am I getting hit by an aggressive threat? No, that is a Suspended Rift Bolt. That's fine. My hand is very much not fine, though. So, this drops me to 17. We'll see if I get punished by putting the snap away by my opponent having Eidolon here. No, I do not. So, what am I looking at here? Alright, I'm looking at 5 damage this turn. This is going to add up just so incredibly quickly. I think I'm more interested in Brainstorm. Oh, that's a good Brainstorm. I'll put back, like, a Cunning Wish, a land, fetch, island. I think I'm gonna... No, I can wait from here, because I've made my land drop now. I don't know. Like, there's also a chance that my opponent just, like, is randomly playing red elemental blasts, because, like, that's what all the cool kids are doing in this format right now. Alright, Goblin Guide trigger. In response, Brainstorm. I think put back land. Draw the island off the Goblin Guide trigger. And then end of turn, I'll consider away that land. There are worlds where I just die here, though, to get many burn spells being strung together. Yes, I put Flooded Strand into my graveyard. That's a Force of Will. So the top of my library is random. I am Force of Willing this. The question is, like, what is the other play? Like, what do I pitch? I will have 4 lands, so if I go High Tide, we'll have 6 mana after that. I reset, I'll go down to 4, then up to 10 total mana, which is a Cunning Wish with 7 remaining in pool, which is a Meditate with 4 remaining in pool. That sounds pretty good off a single High Tide. Alright. Force of Will, pitch High Tide, and I don't know that I have to go for it immediately. Like, I can wait until after Goblin Guide has attacked, I think, to see if I draw an extra card. I do. The issue is that if I go to 8, my opponent could fire off a couple of burn spells in response, and things could get a little saucy. But I can try to do this with one more land drop in play if I want. Flash one more card draw. My opponent's got 4 cards in hand, though. Like, it's a little scary for me to give them another draw step. I think it's too scary to give them another draw step. I think I'm going to go off here. I'm just worried about going to 6 and then hitting multiple instant speed relevant cards in response. Alright. So I've untapped my stuff. I'll cast this Cunning Wish. Grab the Meditate. As planned. Oh wait, hold on. Is it ever Blue Sun instead? I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 total mana. No, there's a couple different mana amounts that I have to leave open for stuff. I think it is just Meditate. Because, like, for some of the Snapcaster-based lines, I need a little more mana open. Shit. And I just meditated. I'm so dead for that. Okay. Well, I'll, I only need to tap one of those. I'll snap that back to your hand. Untap these lands. And then be very dead. That's a Fire Blast. You can eat a Flusterstorm, I think. Just while that is guaranteed to be good. Absolutely same targets. And take that out. And we'll see what else my opponent can do with their floating mana. That one can't be countered. Okay. That's scary. The Goblin Guide is back. I don't think I have any outs from here. Like, everything just kills me. You know what? I am countering your exquisite Firecraft. You can't stop me. Can't stop me. They stopped me. Now, this is something I haven't done very frequently on the channel. That is an 05-010 league with Solidarity, Instant Speed High Tide. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This feels so much worse than traditional High Tide. Like, with traditional High Tide, you have the draw 7 effect of Time Spiral at the ready. That a lot of times, like, you can just cast like one High Tide into a Time Spiral, and it very frequently leads into you ending the game. And I don't feel like Meditate does that in the same way. The resets are really powerful, but I don't think it's good enough. I also just think this deck has been completely power crept out of the format. The Hull Breachers, Narsets, Endurances, Teferis are all just damningly good. And it's not like those are sideboard cards against this deck or anything. Like, those are just cards that you play in Legacy because they're good, right? So I don't really think High Tide, especially in this form, is super viable as of right now. At least with the traditional High Tide variant, you're better against Teferi. You're not just Stone Cold dead to that card. There were some things in this deck that I never got to see. So, for example, like we didn't get to see the whole Reacher Horror like getting into play and doing its thing. I wish I could have seen that because that like probably would be pretty gross. But overall, I don't think this one gets a thumbs up from me. I like some of the things about the deck building, especially like the dress downs in the sideboard. But I just don't think we're here, especially in a format where I think Pyroblast is currently the most played card in the format, if memory serves, based on the infographics that I was seeing on Twitter floating around. So maybe don't play this one. I'll give you the deck list though, just in case like you want to be a mad lad and try it out. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. Helps a lot. If you made it to this point in the video and you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I'm working on getting towards 15K YouTube subs, at which point I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!